Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. This is episode 110. Joined with Isaac Stollmeyer, Connor Carsons, Nick Gwynn on the call. How we doing?
You're
doing great. Let's get into it. Love talk some basketball.
Talk some hoops.
Especially about those these in-season tournament games. They've been pretty intense.
Yeah. We can kind of start out with that because we kind of forgot to talk about it last time we did basketball. But
it's pretty forgettable.
What are you guys' takes away from
some
in-season tournament?
Some of the courts have looked better than
Yes.
the Twitter pictures looked, and that like how they were displayed. And some of them, like Phillies, have looked way worse.
Detroit hasn't clean.
Detroit looked cool because we saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a couple that look really cool, a couple that look really fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the jerseys. Most of the jerseys look like shit. Like, I'll just say that. But when the tournament first got announced, I thought it was stupid. I thought it was like so dumb. I was like, what is even the point of this? This makes no sense. But now watching it, I can tell because I didn't know how the players would react to it. Like, I thought they'd treat it just like a normal ass game.
Mm-hmm.
But the games have been fairly close. Like, all of them have been really close. And when it gets down to crunch time, like they're actually trying their asses off. Like LeBron said, he's like, this is like a playoff atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it looked like it. So I think I still don't like it. I still think it's dumb.
I think it's gonna get a lot more intense when it gets to bracket play.
Absolutely,
they're just in pool play right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Dame said it best. I think he said it like on an interview or something. A lot of these guys, because there's a cash prize involved. I think it's like $500K. A lot of these stars, they don't care about the money.
No, it's the lower guys.
It's the lower guys that they're trying to play for. So they're trying to play for like the two-way guys and the 15th man on the end of the bench. And so, you know, when you have that bond like these NBA players do, like that alone is going to drive you to compete. And I mean, the Sixers-Pacers game, like those guys were duking it
that
out.
game
That was intense.
I don't think the Pacers might not score under 110 points all season.
I mean,
They might not give up anything under 110 points as well.
It looked like the 7-second Suns out there.
Jeez.
And then what was it? It was Warriors Golden State. Was that a tournament game?
Warriors
Or was
Golden
that-
State?
OKC when we played OKC.
Yeah, not OKC. The Timberwolves.
No.
Golden State.
Oh, the one yesterday?
No, that wasn't it.
That wasn't tournament.
No.
Okay.
Well, it might have been.
Was OKC Warriors a tournament?
Yeah.
That was a crazy game.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
That was
too.
the first game where I was like, oh shit, like this. Because it was like 140 to like 140, and then you just lose off like a fucking, what he did, Curry layup?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just lose by a fucking buzzer beater.
And then it was like the Draymond interference or whatever, but they counted it.
Yeah, they didn't count it.
Just some of my takeaways, like for future and what they could do to like kind of evolve it, is looking at some of the groups. I think if you can get, because they do have this thing called like rivalry week, and it's like rivals. I don't really think there's too many rivalries like in the league today like
Not
that.
really.
But I think if they did a good job determining what teams are in certain groups, I think you can kind of get that rivalry aspect if they do this year in, year out.
I wonder if they're going to keep the groups like the same every year, or if it's like a random draw
I think
every
they should
year.
do random.
They'll probably just
I think a
rotate.
random draw would be cool every year.
The only problem with that is you could get where like you have the bottom half of the league teams, and then you get one group that has like Denver, Boston, like Milwaukee.
It's a random draw. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's nothing you can do about it.
The only thing about random draws, then you like it would less entice bracket play. Say like then you get to the bracket play and you got Washington who somehow won against other shit teams versus Boston.
Well, hey, they made it that far.
Yeah.
And they took inspiration from how other teams, like the World Cup, like how they've done it, and that's how it is. There's a random draw for pools, so I think that's where they got the idea. And it seems like a hit to me. I think it's going to stick around.
I think it probably will stick around. Like I could get a lot more used to it as it goes on.
I mean, as a fan, it's indistinguishable from an actual game, but it's clear that these guys are playing harder.
Mm-hmm.
I think this means a lot more for middle of the pack teams, like a team like the Pacers, like the Nets, like
Hawks,
like these teams that don't really have like championship aspirations, or they're not at that doorstep yet. But like for this is their like playoffs in a way and everything like that.
Do you get like a trophy or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a trophy.
It's legit. It's just like it's the regular season. It's always I need to see how it plays out first. I've liked what I've seen. One of the things like I've seen, like Kenny Beecham, like he has his own podcast and he talked about it on his, and it was like think from like Tyrese Halliburton or somebody talked about it. He says like this is like our like he's never like been on a team that's competing for like a championship yet. So like this is like their like way to like go improve themselves and everything else like that.
Yeah.
Another way that I've seen is how to make it even a bigger thing is I don't know if they'll ever do it. I think it's a good idea, but whoever wins the tournament gets a guaranteed playoff spot.
I did see that.
Or it gets a guaranteed lottery pick. Flipping the side.
You pick?
Yeah, so you can either get
You get to pick? That's crazy.
No, you get like just a lottery pick, like
Okay.
in the random order of it.
I was gonna say you get to pick either a playoff spot.
I was
or
gonna say,
the
I don't
fifth
think that's
overall
fair.
pick, so that would be
No,
wild.
you will just end up being a team that is in the lottery, no matter where your record finishes you. If you win the tournament, if you decide to,
I don't think they'll do that.
But you could also decide.
That just scares the worst teams.
Well, you would
imagine like the Celtics win and we're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, let me get
and
the-
then we go on. Imagine we go on to win the finals and we're like, oh, cool, we got a lottery pick
Yeah,
too.
then you get a lotto pick,
Yeah.
and I mean it's probably top out. It'd probably be like the 5th overall pick at best.
Yeah, if they had,
Which is
crazy.
still nuts.
For
If
a
they
team
had
that's
it-
won the finals.
So yeah,
if they had a cap on it, I think if you could get anywhere, even like a lower end, like if you had like 7 to end of lottery,
even then though, imagine like he said, the Celtics win the finals,
Or
and
not
then-
even, not even just the Celtics, like maybe the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Like they just reload. Like I think I think that's kind of dumb.
I've heard
low-key.
automatic playoff bid is like players have like talked about, and like that would be something that
hate
they
that.
would play for. Just like a
It's also-
guaranteed.
it's
like,
also a choice of who wins it. Like who, like say if Boston wins it, like even though
you're
they're
saying they get to
So it is a
choose
pick?
either the pick
Yeah,
or the
so what are you
playoff
trying to-
spot?
what do
yeah.
you- Oh, yeah, that's dumb.
See, I don't know about that. That
Yeah,
would
that's
just
dumb.
that would cause too much uncertainty.
That just
I don't
means
think the
if,
league would like that.
Yeah, that just means if a good team wins, they're going to get the playoff spot no matter what.
Yeah,
And then they also get the lottery pick, like I just said. Yeah, that's dumb. I don't like that.
that's just what I've seen in just the realm of like in season tournament, how to make it more enticing for everybody.
I feel like either one, like you get, and personally, the guaranteed playoff spot would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Because it's probably going to be a good team that wins the tournament anyway. Probably a team that's already going to make the playoffs.
but in
But
terms
on
of
the off
how
chance there isn't, though,
yeah.
it's still fun. It's like a 10 seed or 11 seed, or some maybe a team whose star player like gets hurt midway through. They still get to experience the playoffs for those younger guys,
Yeah.
and it'll still benefit them.
I think it's also interesting to see like how much of like a logjam there is in both conferences now when it comes to making the play-in, making the playoffs. I think if you had a team like, for instance, Golden State or the Lakers, right? 2 teams that were borderline play-in 6th seed last year. You have a team like that to where like guaranteed playoff spot. They ain't got to worry about a play-in with how much of a logjam there is. And that's not even just saying like the best team's always going to win the in-season tournament. Anything can happen in these one-game scenarios. So,
I think it was a guaranteed spot, like, is that technically tanking?
No, because with the new awards
Because then now you're
requirement, though, 65 games to qualify for awards, and you probably got to beat that same threshold to qualify for stat bonuses and contract bonuses
Is
and
that
all that
like-
stuff.
Is that
It's
like
weird.
is that like low key cheating? Because then you could just be like, well, we already made it. Like y'all need help. Hey, we'll just throw. Like,
But like,
would they do that?
No.
'cause they-
But like, if it gets down to close games, like the Warriors don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
we already made the playoffs. Who cares?
it's very
but,
interesting.
but you gotta say, like, they're competitors.
Yeah.
They're playing.
I don't know. I think there'd be a lot of conversations about that.
That's just also what I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it's cool to think about, but actually, like, if it were to happen, it would be very confusing.
Yes.
Because you, like, for a super casual fan, it'd be very confusing to see. So this team only won 18 games this year, but
Why
they
the
won the
fuck are they in the
They won
playoffs?
they
Right.
won the in-season tournament. The only thing I think that they
that'd
could
be fun.
The Spurs or something.
like the only you can't even make it to where like you get a lottery pick. I think it would be better if you were to get maybe an extra draft pick that year or something small like that.
They could just keep it the way
What do
it
you think
is.
about maybe like home court in the playoffs to a certain point or something like that?
That's true. No matter what your seed is, you get home court all the way through.
Ooh.
Something like
But
that.
then what if a
I don't know.
bad team wins?
Well, I mean, if
Then
Yeah,
you
but like,
lose
what
that
if
advantage.
then like what if it's like the Celtics, who you already know you're gonna get the first seed or something like that? Not
That's
like
what I mean.
already know, but like
I think we're overthinking this
like
a
the
little bit.
Nuggets. Like what if it's the Nuggets and they know they're gonna get the first seed?
or it's like you could win the in-season tournament and get home court. You can win the in-season tournament, but like that doesn't guarantee you even going to get to the playoffs to use that home court.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, because the chances are a bad team winning the tournament
Very low.
not high.
No.
So
Not very high.
I think the Clippers are already eliminated from tournament contention.
they might be eliminated from playoff contention
God,
here
I
soon.
hate the Clippers.
That's funny.
That can kind of segue. Actually, no. We can talk about that a little later on. But we got to get into the drama of the week surrounding my fucking team because Draymond Green can't keep his hands to himself.
Okay. I saw a 2-minute video of all the
So funny.
wild stuff he's done.
It's-
2 minutes.
I saw the same video.
I saw that video.
It was
It was
hilarious.
hilarious.
I actually like laughed out. The funniest clip on there is the one when he tackles Kevin Porter.
Yeah.
Fucking just chasing him down the court.
Oh my god.
Because he's like already diving on the ground for the ball, and then he's literally a deadbolt sprint to go tackle Kevin Porter. So yeah, I think
No,
Draymond-
when he tabletopped Marcus Smart,
Yes.
that was also good.
Yeah, that
it's
one was
very
great.
like the stat of him. So I don't know if you guys saw the stat. It was so there's been like the last 13 games Steph hasn't played. Draymond's been ejected from 8 of them, which is a crazy thing to think of because
Gobert wasn't lying.
because Rudy
He
Gobert
said
said,
that,
"Hey,
yeah.
when Steph don't want to play, or when Steph's not playing, Draymond don't want to play." And I think I agree with him. I really think Draymond like just doesn't want to be on the court when Steph isn't there. And then I saw the thing. It was like, where would Draymond be without Steph? I've been a factor. He would be out of the league.
We've talked
he would
about
be
that
way out
on
of the
this
league.
pod before.
Draymond would not be. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer now. I assume. And he's going to get his jersey retired. None of that happens if he's not with Steph Curry.
If he,
Well, I think you could say that in a lot of different cases for a lot of different players.
but Draymond specifically,
But I'm just
Yeah.
saying Draymond right
he's
now.
a bum on 29 of the 30 teams.
Yes.
I think he ends up still in the league. You gotta think there's a lot of
No,
bad.
he can play in the league all he wants. He's not a 2-time defensive player of the year or whatever he is.
4-time
Whatever he is, 4-time
Four-time
champion,
champ.
getting his jersey retired. Like if he's on like the Hornets or something, or I don't know, when was he drafted? I don't know.
2012 or 11.
I don't even know who was good back then. You could have been on a good team then, and he was still going to be bad.
Well, he
Hornets might have been decent.
he got his run when David Lee got hurt early in his career. That's when he started to get his run.
I don't know, I'm just not a Draymond Green guy. I think he really is like a Curry. He's a Curry meat writer.
Here's the thing about that.
He a Curry
I
meat
mean, he's
writer.
his teamate, so I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he
but like
kinda-
that's
he kind of
come on.
have to be.
Come on,
But like,
like I think he might like kiss Curry on the mouth or want to. Like,
stop. As a Warriors fan, like, how do you like come to terms with this? Like, this is your team. This is like your support. You're supposed to support these guys, but like,
he tried, and then we all fried him
Yeah.
when he stepped on Sabonis.
I tried to defend. I try to be the guy to just go in there and
like,
defend it.
how do you wrap your mind around this? Because this is like the billionth
You
time
can't
something like
defend
this
it.
has
You
happened.
can't defend this one.
There is no defending. You really can't even defend the Sabonis issue. It's just I don't think I was trying to like defend it, but I think people looked at that certain like in that group chat at
No,
that
you
time.
were trying to defend it.
I was just trying to make light of the situation, and then
You basically said Draymond didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You're like, I would have done the same.
But okay, that was just me being a fan. Me from this point, looking at what happened because I couldn't watch the game because we don't get Minnesota Timberwolves games here.
I was so confused. I was on the score.
So those
The
are
local market. Yeah.
I was on the score trying to update it, and it was just like Warriors defensive rebound. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah,
and
so-
I go on Twitter and I see that whole fucking scuffle.
So this kind of get me into like the Warriors as a whole because we even talked about it last year in the offseason. Like Draymond is becoming more trouble than he's worth at this point in time in his career.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And looking at the antics, looking at some of the shit he's done. I mean, looking over just the instance in the past year with the Sabonis situation and all of his past shit. Like
He punched his teammate in the
punched
face.
Jordan Poole. Now Jordan
Got him traded.
like all this stuff within the past year. Like
He
has,
did punch him.
Has he been a big part of the Warriors championships? Yes,
Absolutely.
You can argue that.
Yeah.
You can argue that if he doesn't get suspended for that Game 5, they have another whole championship against Cleveland that year. You can argue that, but look at what he's done.
that also falls into everything else.
Yes.
Like, why did he get suspended?
Yeah,
what was
You're
it?
like,
Yeah.
why are we getting
Yeah.
suspended?
Because he was being a
Being an
menace.
idiot.
Yeah, but it's also like, look at what he's done. Punched Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's not on the team. He had the whole situation with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant left the team that summer. and then the Sabonis incident, and then
Now this.
The Steven Adams incident.
it's Steven Adams.
all the
Steven Adams, all
ejections,
this
technical
stuff.
fouls. Yeah, I mean,
he's more trouble than he's worth. I think this comes down to like the entire team. Like, look at what Draymond's cashing checks, like talking all this shit to these star guys that Curry has to cash.
Crazy.
Because Draymond isn't going bucket for bucket with
No.
Anthony Edwards. He isn't going bucket for
I've heard
bucket
about
with
that
De'Aaron
too.
Fox. Like, he's
Although-
not.
That's what Edward said. He said, "Ain't no one worry about you."
Yes,
and
like-
I agree. Ain't no one worry about him.
With the entire team right now, other than Steph Curry playing below than what they're capable of playing, you can't. Him going out here from Draymond, who hasn't even played a majority of the games this season, because he came in injured, and then now he's suspended 5 games, and now it came out that he's losing over $800,000
Good.
for the suspension.
Yeah,
it's nothing to him anyway.
It just blows my mind that he doesn't. But like when he talks about it, he thinks that he's not hurting the team when he does
No.
this shit.
That's great.
Like
it's so
him-
great.
And then he'll come into the season. Listen, Jordan Poole already on a new team. Watch this whole.
At
when
this
you-
point, what point is it on Coach Kerr
He's so
to
delusional.
probably go, "Hey, Draymond, let's not
You
do
don't
that."
think they haven't tried? I heard
Like-
I heard Steve Kerr like repeatedly tried to have Draymond sit down with Jordan Poole, like take him out to lunch, all this stuff, and Draymond was like, "No, I want no part. I don't want to talk to
So
him."
Because
crazy.
Draymond's petty.
Yes.
Exactly.
Draymond's petty as
He
fuck.
doesn't. He's like you have to choose to learn and improve, and he actively doesn't.
He still was taking shots at Jordan Poole to start this year by saying, "Oh, the vibes were bad last year."
Yeah.
You're the reason the vibes were bad last year.
Read the room, bro.
Like, listen, like, if the Warriors didn't have their success and say, like, this was just a regular, ordinary team, not a dynasty or anything else, they would have been traded Draymond.
Yeah. yeah.
Look what happened with the Warrior. Kai Jones, is that his name?
The Hornets.
On the Hornets.
Hornets. Yeah, like he was causing all sorts of weird stuff. He wasn't even like punching people. He was just being weird on Twitter, and they cut him. Yeah, Draymond would have been long gone at this point.
Draymond just needs to shut the fuck up and play. That's what he needs to do. He just needs to shut up and play because he's not even doing anything for us on the court right now to back up what he's doing to make it seem like, okay, we understand the antics, we understand what he's
Look at these
doing.
numbers.
But what he's doing on the court, and he's not even playing games. I know he's not going to show it in the box score and everything else, what he does on the court, but he's not even playing these games for us. So, like, and it's crazy to think that he's doing all of this and barely being on the court. It's just frustrating to see, like, as a fan.
Bro,
And it's stupid. It's just stupid shit after another thing.
They lucky Goobert didn't fall down when he was doing it because he could have got Draymond for a good 15 games
yeah.
if he would have like fell or like acted hurt or something like that shit.
Or would have escalated the fight. I mean, it could have been a real.
It's just
Malice
so
at the
weird
Palace
because
type.
they were like,
I mean, not with the
oh
fans,
yeah,
but-
Draymond was trying to de-escalate the situation. He literally wrapped put him in a chokehold. Like
He didn't try to separate nobody. He
and
tried
if you were
to
looking at his face, like there's malintention like on his face. Like
Yeah.
he's
He's looking
trying
down.
to choke him.
Well,
He knows.
him and Rudy Gobert do have beef.
Oh yeah, they
It
do.
was so funny the way he actively searched out Rudy Gobert. Like he saw someone down, he's like, "All right, now's my chance. I'm gonna go beat them."
let me go get him.
Get that
Like
freaking look.
even the Jane McDaniels and Clay thing, like that's just a petty thing that happens in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like Clay put his hand on him, he swipes it down, and then neither one of them want to let go.
Yeah, I think Jay
So-
McDaniel's got his jersey or something.
Clay
so-
got his jersey
Oh,
ripped.
Clay
Yeah.
got his jersey.
And
yeah.
they both got fined $25K.
And then they both get
And-
kicked out of the game.
Yeah,
So
they
did
both get
Gobert.
kicked out. Gobert got kicked out.
He got fined $25K too. Like,
So crazy.
PJ Tucker posted a story like he's like, I think it's so funny. Rudy Gobert got fined $25K for that.
I do think it's interesting though, and like all three of the situations that come to mind when I think of Draymond. So this one, the Sabonis incident, and punching Jordan Poole. In all three of those, Steve Kerr never I didn't ever hear him say anything bad about what Draymond did.
Crazy.
Most of the
That's
time.
true.
Like a lot of it was like for the Jordan Poole incident, it was why did this come out? Like why did people know about
Yeah.
it? How did the footage get out of there? Sabonis, it was like, oh well, I didn't see the play. This time it's he saw Rudy Gobert grabbing Clay's neck. Kind of seems like he's just like letting it happen.
Yeah, he's not really, and this is also like what it's easy to be like the head coach would say something. What is Steve Kerr gonna say? Like what is
I think
he
you
like?
have to say
He said
something.
that's
Fucking stop.
inexcusable.
Or like
he needs
you
to
have
be
to
more
be like
professional.
I-
like even as an organization, you have to be like low key. If they wanted to like really stick it to him, like the team should suspend him,
Yeah.
not the NBA. Be like the NBA. You can get the 5 games or whatever. fuck, the team should add another 5 games onto it. Or 3 games or something like.
Okay, we'll match it.
It'd be like, hey, Draymond, like, don't fucking do that again. Like,
we just
paid you all this money and now you're not playing, and then when you do come back, you get fucking suspended. So
he is averaging 8.8 points a game,
which is crazy.
Honestly,
that's high for him.
That's actually his high since 2017, because he had 15 points against OKC, 5 rebounds and 5 assists.
Yeah, so that's a Draymond Green ass stat line.
Draymond Green, and we're talking 8 or 9 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and he's getting suspended for 5 games, and just causing all this stuff. Like, how much is he getting paid?
A lot now.
It's like 4 years, 100 mil, something like that.
God. That's $25 million a year. At what point do you talk trade?
They're in an interesting spot. It's honestly disappointing to see. It sucks because, like, he's just hurting the team. This is another instance where he's hurting the fucking team just because he wants to go have this dumbass beef. Yeah, sorry, Jordan Poole said something about you and Shawty's. Get over it. Get over it.
You punched the man in the face. He's not going to be buddy with you.
I mean, is someone talking about me like that? I mean, he was standing on business.
And then God knows what they did to my King Jordan Poole. God knows what they did in Washington. Jordan can't even give me 16.
Jordan Poole's mentals are in the gutter.
Yeah. Poor guy.
He was on he gets his ring or whatever. Like,
gets paid.
Top of the world, gets paid, gets sucker punched in the face by his own teammate, then shipped off to Washington. And now the motherfucker can't average 14 points a game.
No, because the whole defense knows he's the only one on the team who has any sort of scoring ability.
So crazy.
Well, I guess
and then
Kyle Kuzma's there.
Don't even get me started with the other 2 losers on this Warriors team.
Let me talk before you get into it.
Loser 1 is Wiggins.
Let me speak on it.
Yeah.
Well,
let me speak on it.
Thoughts.
Y'all were just 8-1.
This can kind of get us into our the next kind of thing, because one of the all-star level players that is available now is Zach Lavine.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Warriors are going to be interested, or who
Probably
knows.
not.
But just looking at the situation, nobody on this team when Steph Curry is playing has gotten a 20-point game yet. Ever since Andrew Wiggins got paid, got the ring, he missed a good part of last year. We're like, okay, whatever. He missed a good part of last year. He go come in this year. He go be fine. We haven't yet to see Andrew Wiggins sit defensively like he did in the finals and that whole playoff run. Mm-hmm. We have yet to see Andrew Wiggins get 20 points a game. We have yet to see him shoot efficiently. We have yet to see him hit threes consistently. We have yet to see Andrew Wiggins be really anything out there on the court. And then Klay Thompson, I understand. I hear Klay Thompson say, yeah, I understand. I've played basketball. Shooting slumps do happen. I've seen Klay Thompson come out here. First 10 games he wasn't on. He was like, next 10 games I'm going to be on something. I'm like, at this point, I gotta see it because I haven't seen it from Klay. No. I haven't seen it, and Klay Thompson's getting the majority of shot attempts, even when Steph Curry is playing. And it's just some of these looks, it's forced. He realizes he's in a contract year. I think there's a little bit of panic in this as well because he is having so much pressure, even from this team he's been with his whole career, to play well. So they do bring him back, and it's to the point now where I'm like, is Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson gonna turn around, not win? Because we're 10 games in, obviously still super early into the year.
Yes.
But it's to the point now where,
well, it's just like trade deadline talks, because, what if, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but, what if Andrew Wiggins just doesn't get it going? Be like, all right, man, or Klay. It'd be probably more Klay than Wiggins. Be like, okay, what are we... Zach Lavine. I don't think you guys are going to get Zach Lavine, but, the talks could be about it. Be like, maybe you send Zach to fucking Chicago for, a rental agreement for a year, and then he goes into free agency. Mm-hmm. It's just so weird. But, yeah, I think he does feel a lot of pressure. It's just hard. We've seen the Warriors offense without Curry before. It just is a bad. Yeah. Curry is the Warriors. He literally is the Warriors.
It's looked better this year, too, because Chris Paul is actually playing fine. Obviously,
Chris Paul is playing very good.
He has not been a problem.
Here's the thing. Everybody, all these past 2 years, is like, the young guys need to take a step. I'm looking at our bench unit. Moses Moody, Kuminga,
what's his face is doing good.
Posevsky, that we just got drafted this year, hooping. Our bench unit,
8 points in 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
he had 21 against Minnesota. Hey. Number 1 ranked defense
off the bench
in the league, off the bench. And then I'm looking at our bench and our young guys better than it has been the past 3 years. But who's not showing up? I got Klay Thompson out here shooting 6 for 25.
Yep.
I got Andrew Wiggins out here 1 for 9 from 3, 2 for 14 on the game. I'm like, what are we? that's the problem. It's not the young guys. It's never been the fucking young guys like that because
your king, Kevon Looney, he can't do it all.
And Kevon Looney can't fucking do it all. And I'm like, so I'm looking at this team, and like the main nag is that the young guys haven't been producing. The young guys, for one, we never took time to really develop them outside of Jordan Poole. And Jordan Poole kind of just caught fire that year we were bad. And that's where he kind of stretched out from. But like, the problem is that we look old. We look slow as fuck. The only player on our team that is getting us points consistently is Steph Curry. Yeah. So, and then you lose your 20-point per game score, which I had question marks about when we did trade Jordan Poole. Who else is going to get that? Me. Oh, Andrew Wiggins or Klay Thompson.
Duh.
You would think they would step up, right? You would think that. You would think that. So I'm looking at it on the situation where, like, it's either they're to the point you have Klay or Wiggins turn it around fast, or you go trade for some scoring. Because even with the bench guys, you don't really have anybody off your bench that you're like, here, go run with Chris Paul in this bench unit, go to work, give me 15 off the bench. Something like, you don't have that. Moses Moody's catch and shoot. Kuminga, you want Kuminga to be that, but Kuminga's game isn't ready to be that.
I mean, I will say, you said Zach LaVine. Maybe not Zach LaVine, but the Bulls are prime ready to blow it up.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Caruso, Kobe White, those guys could both be trade options.
They were talking about the Lakers maybe getting a reunion with Caruso, which would help them.
Caruso's going to be a first round. Caruso's going to be a first round pick.
I think someone who can go get
Philly,
him.
Who just got a first
They've
round
also
pick.
talked to Milwaukee. So
they don't have any. They don't have much though.
They don't have much to offer.
See, I don't think the Warriors
we can't get them. We don't have anything.
Let's kind of go get into like our next thing.
I guess they already have Chris Paul as their backup.
We don't need another guard.
No, fuck no.
You're gonna need a forward. Pat Williams is gonna be too expensive. I imagine.
I don't even want Pat Williams.
DeMar DeRozan.
I don't want DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, come on.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Hold on. DeMar DeRozan?
Because
what do you mean?
Because we're gonna have to give up Andrew Wiggins for it.
No. He's
They're blowing it up. They don't want youth.
Isn't he on an expiring contract?
Who the fuck is coming off the bench then?
Who cares? You got DeMar DeRozan.
You're telling me I'm gonna go tell DeMar DeRozan he's coming off the bench? No.
Yeah.
They're gonna get a way
team guy.
They're gonna get a way better package for DeMar DeRozan. We don't even want DeMar DeRozan. I can't now.
I don't think like OG or something.
OG's gonna be like 3 first round picks.
Yes, we don't have.
Alright, don't get OG. Go get like.
I don't see an issue with DeMar DeRozan. What's wrong with that?
They're not getting DeMar DeRozan.
We're not getting DeMar DeRozan.
He's 34.
We're not getting anybody from Chicago.
God, you guys might really get Zach LaVine.
They're not.
I can see Zach LaVine in Philly.
In Philly? No,
I don't think y'all getting him either.
I feel like if they're gonna get anybody, it's gonna be Caruso because they just got that first rounder from the Clippers, so they could easily flip that into second rounders. They got salary filler. It makes
Zach
sense.
LaVine is like the big name. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. They just signed. Vooch is just gonna be there. I don't see a team still trading for Vooch.
No one wants
But
Vooch.
you do have DeMar on end of his year. He'll be a free agent in the summer, so that could be enticing for a team that right now we can get DeMar DeRozan, maybe make a push.
DeMar needs to go to like
he needs to go to a contender.
The Hawks.
No,
like he needs to be there. I think he could be that's a nice little starting lineup with DeMar.
I don't.
It's too clogged with Clint Capella there, and
the only team
they got DeJounte and Trae Young.
A team that trades for DeMar DeRozan is a team that needs shot creation and that already has spacing implemented. So I think
Kings.
I think the Kings could be interesting.
Sabonis clocks things up a bit. Pacers
could be interesting. They need a team. DeMar needs to go to a situation where he's not the guy, but like you trading for DeMar DeRozan for him to be the second option.
I think Pacers would be.
Pacers could be a good one. I think the Kings could be very interesting, but the Kings seem like a team where they're just content with their guys.
Who they got.
And like they're not going to give up Huter or any of their guys like
what about
that.
Dallas?
Ooh.
I don't think Luka's play style meshes well with DeMar. Luka and James Harden, like prime James Harden, this is a conversation. Now, if Luka goes years and they don't do shit with him, then it comes back to does that play style, dribble, ISO game work with Luka like it didn't with James Harden? That's the whole thing. So the most valuable piece that the Bulls do have to move off of, I think, is Caruso. Compared to what teams could want
not
from
Zach
him.
LaVine?
I think Caruso's the most valuable piece for a contender.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fair.
I think if you added the teams that I really like Caruso on, I said the Bucks a couple episodes ago. I think he's the perfect guy for Miami.
I think Miami would be a good one.
Miami would be a good one. I think Miami would rather have Caruso than LaVine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a super sneaky spot where I think Caruso could go is Dallas.
I like that.
Because Caruso just fits in every situation he goes, and I think Philly. I've seen Philly rumored for a lot of Zach Lavine. I think Philly. You get Kelly Oubre, but you stay pat. You don't worry about shit. Because this is the first time where like y'all have looked promising in so long. Don't fuck up Tyrese Maxey shit by getting Zach Lavine, another person you have to give the ball to.
Yeah.
Don't go get DeMar. Don't do nothing that. If you add Caruso, you add Caruso. But you already have DeAnthony Melton who can kind of do what Caruso does already.
DeAnthony Melton's kind of up and down. I wouldn't mind if
he played good last night.
Used him as filler, tossed in a first, and got Caruso.
They can go a lot of ways. I've heard Zach Lavine to the Knicks,
and I don't know if I hate that because the Jalen Brunson's already very solid defensively. I mean, yeah, he's a little undersized, but he gives you effort. Zach Lavine is a minus on defense.
Any Tom Thibodeau team is going to be good.
Okay, Zach Lavine to the Lakers.
God, always those damn Lakers. Zach Lavine to the Suns?
Fuck it, no.
Well, if the Suns' big three is ever going to lace it up, good lord,
someday we'll play together.
I'm just trying to think. The only place I can really see Zach Lavine going is like the Knicks.
What about Utah? They have a bunch of forwards and not a lot of scoring guys.
We're going to turn into 2K. We're going to give him Derek White.
Danny Ainge is always looking to make weird moves.
I guess a sneaky team that needs consistent guard play and shooting is the Magic.
No.
They're not in that space. No. They're not ready for Zach Lavine.
Don't send Zach Lavine to the Magic.
He goes there to die.
No.
He goes there to die.
God, no.
They have so many cards.
Zach Lavine needs better. Zach Lavine needs better. He needs to come to like Boston.
He can come to the Warriors.
What's he gonna do with Boston?
We'll just get him Derek White and fucking Sam Hauser.
Y'all lose that trade.
Yeah, that's
Derek
a minus.
I think I'd rather take Zach Lavine than Derek White.
Really?
That'd be pretty cool.
No, why would what? You don't need Zach Lavine.
Derek White is an all
Might as well make a fucking super team at this point.
Y'all would. That's it. Y'all get Zach Lavine over Derek White. That's when y'all just lose to Miami again.
You know what? Actually, that would be great. Let's do it. Zach Lavine for Derek White.
Y'all would not. No, hell no. There's only one ball. There is only one ball.
That's fine.
When Zach Lavine,
it seems to be working for us now.
Yeah, because Derek White isn't commanding 20 shots a game like Zach Lavine.
When Zach Lavine takes 15 shots away from Jason Tatum in the playoffs and he makes 4 of them, you're gonna be hot.
We gonna have 7 players with 20 points.
Stop.
I don't honestly. Probably Zach Lavine doesn't get moved. I don't think.
Sadly,
it's realistically
unless and the Knicks are waiting for Donovan Mitchell.
Who's desperate enough? Yeah, that's the thing too. Everyone's watching Donovan Mitchell. Even Philly, I've heard, is interested, which wouldn't hate that. He's not staying in Cleveland.
The only team that could get sneaky and could get frisky
is it the Lakers?
I think if Denver got Zach Lavine.
Why the fuck would they get Zach Lavine?
They already have a pretty meh defense, you know. I don't know if Zach Lavine really fits what they got going.
I don't know. He's a weird name because he's on like damn near close to a Supermax deal. So
plus Jamal Murray's already more of a 2 than a 1 anyway.
It's just Denver just got no fucking bench. Denver bench, so sorry, but they I don't think there's a
if
team.
They don't have a bench, then was Zach Lavine?
No, you just have another go-to scorer.
I guess if it's only bench.
But it doesn't matter. But kind of like going into some of the like one of the things I had on their notes was like how the narratives in the NBA change. They're looking at like the Warriors and all their up and down.
In the NBA every day.
Yes, it's every day.
It all depends on team success.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw something. It was about the Kings and Pacers trade with Halliburton, and we talked about at the time it was happening like, oh, Pacers fleece, whatever. And then when the Kings started looking good and De'Aaron Fox started looking good, it was like, oh, maybe turns out it's kind of a win-win. And now we're like, okay, Tyrese Halliburton is one of the best point guards in the NBA. He might be the best point guard in the NBA when it's all said and done.
Still think it's a win-win.
But is Sabonis a top 5 center in the league? Like, it's the
most even trade you can get.
It just changes and
very even.
Yeah, but I
love Tyrese Halliburton.
The Pacers came out pretty ahead.
Yeah,
I'm a big Tyrese Halliburton guy. I like Tyrese Halliburton a lot.
Yeah, especially these past few games. Mm-hmm. The dude has lit it up. But to your point, I've changed my viewpoint on that trade a couple times.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just looking at some of the things I see around the league and when I watch these games, one person that saw last night that I have to talk about is Anthony fucking Davis.
Anthony
DeMar Hamlin will be fired by...
I mean, Darvin Ham?
Yeah, Darvin Ham.
DeMar Hamlin.
DeMar Hamlin?
No, my fault.
Wrong sport,
Yeah.
brother.
Morgan.
He will be fired by the fucking deadline.
You think?
Yes.
Will it be his fault, though?
No.
Somewhat.
It hardly ever is, right?
Will it be like a
Somewhat,
Frank
yes.
Vogel type beat? Like, it wasn't really Frank Vogel's
Type
fault?
beat.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing with me. Looking at this box score. Played the Kings last night. You're basically down...
Sabonis was giving him that.
You're basically
Good
down
work.
30. So, Anthony Davis, mind you, I get a lot of flack in our group chat for saying that Anthony Davis is not a top 10 player, and I don't think he's really ever been a top 10 player since he's got to the Lakers. Here's my take on this.
I don't think he is.
Anthony Davis, 34 minutes, gave me 9, and 4 blocks. Anthony Davis, always stout defensively. Let's see what Sabonis gave him. Sabonis gave him 29, 16, and 7.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So, stout defensively, I understand. I get it. Sabonis gave him that work last night. How many shots did Anthony Davis take? 9. I wonder why that. Who they're going to blame for that? Okay, let's go to the shot chart. So, Cam Reddish shot 14 shots.
That's awesome.
D'Angelo Russell shot 20 shots. Anthony Davis didn't even get double-digit shot attempts up last night.
But
Jesus.
if that's on him.
It is. You got to want it. You have to also want it. He also had 4 fouls. But Anthony Davis, it's to the point now everybody is like, oh, when AD's healthy, AD's this guy. AD is the reason the Lakers are the way they are. If Anthony Davis consistently played like Anthony Davis should be playing, the Lakers would be a top 3 team talent-wise easily. But they're relying on Austin Reeves to be their third best player, second best player on some nights because Anthony Davis isn't producing. And this is also a consistent thing of why the Lakers are always in this situation every year where they're borderline playing because Anthony Davis does not hoop the way he should be hooping. It's like there's like a nonchalant factor out there to where like Sabonis was busting his
There's
ass.
a list. We got to make a list of our starting 5 of people who don't want to play basketball anymore.
Oh, Anthony Davis is on that list
Yes.
for sure.
Julius Randle at the start of the season. Anthony Davis now.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
I said
James
this.
Harden.
Yeah. Like when I watch some of these players on the like court, it's just like a lot of, no matter what the score is, moping around, like standing around, like, oh, there's a loose ball, I'm not gonna go get it. Like, it's very, very odd.
Like you would think like from a top 10 NBA player, 9 shots unacceptable, right? But this has also happened before where Anthony Davis has
it's way
shot
happened
under 10
before.
shot attempts in the game. And I'm just looking at this Lakers team like why would, if I'm Denver, why would I be scared of this team?
I don't know what.
I mean, they swept them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm not scared
if
of
I'm like, if I'm any of these teams
Denver
in the
is scared of
Western,
no
if
one.
I'm any of these teams in the Western Conference, why the fuck would I be scared of the Lakers? You got Austin Reeves, who I said once they paid him, it'd be funny if he turned out to be mid, like he was the entire time, but he was just playing for the Lakers. What's he doing now? Austin Reeves looks like he doesn't know what the fuck's going on out there half the time. Yes, he had 9, 11, and 8. This is somebody you expect to be
You
your
had 11 rebounds?
Yes, this is somebody you expect to be your third
What?
best player. Your third best
Holy
player on the
shit.
championship team.
He's getting under 10
And then,
points.
and then there's only so much LeBron can do at his age. He gave you 28, 10, and 12
Triple dub.
with 4 steals and a block.
Yeah.
37 years old. My GOAT.
And then you get a good game from D'Lo, and you still lost by 15. Because Anthony Davis ain't hooping.
Mm-hmm.
And then his matchup gave him 29 and 16 and 7.
Did you know that he has never beaten that matchup?
Yeah, he's never beaten Sabonis. He's 0-8.
It's crazy to think. It's just, it's a...
Or
It's
0-9 or whatever it
It's
is.
a hustle kind of thing because Sabonis is just working harder
Yeah.
than Anthony Davis is. This is all that's
It just comes down to people wanting to play basketball
and it's
wanting to try.
It sucks to me because I'll constantly hear Lakers fans talk about, oh, it's our year type shit, and it's not your year
Every
because
year.
every year it's the same shit. Like I talked about last episode, we talked about basketball. It's the same shit every year. And your team only goes as far as Anthony Davis wants to play for. That's all it is. Anthony Davis wanted to hoop last year and then got killed because Denver was just so much better than them. Anthony Davis was hooping last year in the playoffs. Then what happens in the regular season? You guys are going to consistently be a play-in team because Anthony Davis doesn't want to hoop year in, year out. Like, it is what it is. Anthony Davis tomorrow going to give us 37 and 15. And then he go on Sunday and give me 10 and 8.
I mean, at this point, what can you even expect from him? Like you say, the Anthony Davis that we know can happen, that we know, like, is that even real, or is that just every few games at this point?
It's every few games.
It's every few games.
Like, is it?
It's definitely up and down.
Like,
and then they wanted to have a minutes restriction on Bron to start the year. I'm like, that's not going to work.
Oh,
You
that's
can't.
not. It hasn't happened either.
If you guys want to make the playoffs, you can't. Like,
No, especially with Anthony Davis playing the way he has, and Cam Reddish shooting 14 shots a night. That's not a recipe for winning.
Anthony Davis is the problem with the Lakers. That's why the Lakers will never be more than what they are anymore. In the year they won the chip, they had the perfect team to where you could put Anthony Davis at the 4, had JaVale, Dwight,
yeah.
You had 5s that could make Anthony Davis only worry offensively. And I do think Anthony Davis is like picked out sometimes because he's the only Lakers like defender.
yeah.
Because they don't have Vandy playing right now. He's the only backline defender for the
I forgot
Lakers.
they had Vandy.
So, and Vandy hasn't played yet. So, like, Anthony Davis, he is the entire defense. So, sometimes offensively, he's going to be lacking. But there's some times where, like, Sabonis is not known as a great defender.
No, and he was.
Anthony Davis should have worked that matchup. Even if Sabonis got his, Anthony Davis, sometimes you got to be like, I got to be scoring. I can't have.
Like, I gotta get mine.
Yeah, I got to get mine. And it's never seems
But
like
they
that's
don't
the
think
thing.
they don't think like
It's-
that, man.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I think the Lakers are just the same thing. And it's every time I watch the Lakers, it's either I'm getting an AD masterclass or I'm getting AD just being mid
Shit.
as fuck.
What did Shaq say? Just 7 points a quarter, 3 layups, and one. Like, that's all you need to get 28 and be a dominant big man. And he is struggling
Anthony
to
Davis
get 9
isn't a
shots.
dominant big man. Anthony
No.
Davis wants to be a guard.
Yeah,
Anthony
that's
Davis
true.
wants to be in that mid
He's
range.
playing center. He wants to be a forward.
Anthony Davis want to be what Kevin Durant be doing to people. He want to be in that mid range, jab, shoot, tween. Like,
But then
down
it just
the
turns
block.
into turnover, and like you're too damn big to be doing that,
he's
man.
completely lost his 3-point shot. Like, it's just.
Oh man, he ain't got no 3.
I just can't be in on the Lakers team when I never know what I'm getting out of your second best player. Who, at this point in time, people thought it's AD team. No, it's still LeBron's team.
As long as LeBron is on the
Yes,
roster,
it
it's
will
LeBron's
always
team.
be LeBron's team. I don't know why people thought Anthony Davis was just gonna be this guy for the Lakers,
Shit.
like, and LeBron was just gonna start taking a back seat. No, they fucked up. The moment they fucked up is when they traded for Russell Westbrook, and this shit's all been over with.
That's what ruined the timeline.
This shit all been over with since then.
If they can Loki their way back in time slip, which
You-
I finished that show, by the way, fire show. Go back and undo it. Russell Westbrook.
Some Victor Timely shit.
Yeah, that's really, you think it's his fault that they're the way they are now?
No, I think the trade is.
Oh, trading Russell Westbrook. You
All
think
the-
they should have kept Russell Westbrook?
No, they should have
Trading for him?
never. Yeah, they should have
They
never
should have
traded.
traded for him.
Yeah,
No, that's what I was gonna say. I agree.
like all the people that the Lakers need now, they had.
Who were they gonna get instead? They were gonna get like
Buddy Hield.
Yeah, it was Buddy Hield. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, you gave up KCP, one of the best role players in the league. You give up Caruso, somebody you need now, and then you give up Kyle Kuzma, who's somebody off your bench that can hoop.
Caruso wasn't. I mean, he was fun when he was a Laker, but nobody knew he'd end up being like one of the best defensive players in the NBA.
Yeah, but you gotta think about, you have a backcourt defensively of Caruso, KCP. Defensively, you're solid. You have AD, JaVale, Dwight. There's a reason that team was great defensively. But then you replace Caruso with D'Lo. You replace KCP with Austin Reeves. And then you have Cam Reddish, who's been solid defensively, who's actually been solid for them. Christian Wood's been solid for them.
Christian Wood.
Christian Wood, he can score off your bench. That's what they have him for.
Yeah, but
you don't
he's-
look at him defensively.
I'm contemplating dropping him on my fantasy team. I'm looking at his numbers. He has not been, and maybe they're expecting not a whole lot for. I don't know how many. He doesn't play a lot of minutes, but he has just. I was expecting like 18 and 7 or something. Be like a 6th man
I
almost
like
from
the
him.
lineups they have him and AD in there. But AD,
Is Christian Wood playing center in
Christian
those?
Wood at the 4. Then you
Wow.
have AD at your 5. I like those lineups when you got Bron, Wood, Reddish, AD, and then Austin Reeves. I just think Austin Reeves be out there trying to do too much. He makes the game a lot harder on himself than what he actually is. There's a lot of times he open 3, tween, step back, like, nigga, shoot the 3. Stop playing. That's the problem with the fucking Clippers, who haven't won a game since they traded for James
Are we
Harden.
talking
Yeah.
about Clippers now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I don't know what the hell I was watching in the final
Oh,
5 minutes of
boy.
that Clippers game. Like, they were like in the game the whole time. It's like, all right, they were up by like 6 at 1.7, and then it's just like they get that lineup in, and things just went to hell. Like,
Who was the new addition to? The...
oh my God, James Harden is maybe the worst basketball player in the NBA right now. I watched him fly past Nikolai Jokic and miss a wide open layup. And then I'm watching Paul George shoot these contested ass threes for no reason.
Because they're not going to guard James Harden.
And I'm watching Kawhi and Russ kind of just like stand there and just be like,
I just don't.
And
There's
then
no
for some
off-ball
reason
movement.
they're like, "Oh yeah, let's put PJ Tucker on Jokic." Like at first, I'm like, "Okay, whatever, PJ Tucker." But then when Jokic scores 4 baskets in a row on PJ Tucker, I think it's time to probably put Zubac in and not give a fuck if he fouls out.
Yeah.
Like they were like, "Oh yeah, Zubac got 4 fouls left." I was like, or he's got 4 fouls. I was like, "There's 4 minutes left in the game, dude." Like, is it really that big of a deal if he fouls out? Like, you need size on him. Like, there is no, like, I just had no idea what I was watching. And then they just bring the double, and Jokic just, Aaron Gordon, and he just throws the oop, and he fucking scores.
I feel so bad for Ty Lue.
Yes, like,
he's so getting fired.
And now Bones Highland's out of the rotation. A credible starting point guard on some teams is just out of the, like, lineup.
They traded a pretty decent amount for him, too, right?
He could go to the Nets, the Clippers, he could be the backup for the fucking Kings
Suns.
if he really needed to. Suns need a point guard.
I'd like him in Philly.
It's so odd.
And then it's like
he's gonna be gone by the deadline.
And then it's like, our team has a lot of talent. Ty Lue, I feel bad because Ty Lue never. It seems like ever since he left Cleveland, he's never had a normal NBA season. It's always his stars are out. It's always they've made a bad trade for somebody, like something just happened. But like it's more so. It's just like, when is it going to work? Because if you're looking at the Western Conference,
yeah, James Harden. When we figure it out, it's going to be scary.
It's like, but like, what does it look like when it does happen?
You mean when you guys figure it out in the 10th seed in the playing game?
So
you're like, oh, that'll be cool.
So you're sitting here because the Western Conference is not a conference you want to fall behind in. So you're looking at it, it's like, okay, so we have Zubac. They just got Daniel Tyson a trade.
Why?
There was a trade? I thought it was a
No, they
buyout.
just
It was a buyout. Yeah, it was a buyout because Mason Plumlee's out for the year.
Oh, he's out for the year?
Yeah.
I thought it was just
I
an
didn't know
MCL
that.
thing.
No, he's out for the year. I'm pretty sure.
I did not know that.
But looking at it, it's like
Celtics legend.
They have this kind of all teams kind of do it, and I think the league is kind of like going in the opposite direction. Every team wants to have this deadly small ball lineup, but like when you look at a team that like made that a thing was the Warriors. When we had Kevin Durant and Draymond and Iggy and Curry and Clay, like we could mix it up and everything else, but like you ain't doing shit with Jokic.
No.
You put PJ Tucker. Yeah, PJ Tucker can get physical. It's still Jokic.
Like, I swear to God,
reach
every
over.
time Jokic scored, they just panned over to Zubac just on the bench.
Yeah.
And he was just sitting there, just like, watching.
And I'm not saying Zubac is going to go in there and do crazy things.
No, but at
he's
least
a
he can.
bigger body.
Yes, he's like 7 foot. Like,
He's going to make it tougher.
PJ
on
Tucker's
Jokic.
what, 6'7"?
Yeah.
No, he's
Not even?
6'4".
Not even. Yeah. he's
Oh
not
my
even.
God.
It's crazy to think that teams continue to try to play small ball with Denver. Jokic isn't an ordinary big man anyways. Like, Jokic might not be out here tweening like a guard, but Jokic can play on the perimeter. Like, Jokic is good enough to, like, you're going to put a small on me? Fine. I'll just go to work.
Yeah.
You have to double. Okay, MPJ.
I'll just back him down.
Yes.
Like,
MPJ, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, they're going to eat all game because you have to double. You have to double him with, you have Rudy Gobert, who's one of the best rim protectors in the league on him. Yeah. Like, you have to double. There's nothing you can do about it. And for the Clippers to be like, we're going to run small when we got niggas out here who don't want to guard.
I watched 4 players just stand around, like, on the Clippers. It is so crazy. And then, Paul George, man. He be hooping. And then it gets down to crunch time. Where did he go? Like, what happened? Where did my boy? Where did my Cam?
Kawhi had a subpar ass game.
Yeah.
And then they were in that game. It's like, at some point, because I was watching the game, I'm like, all right, they got Harden on the bench in the 4th right now. Dude, I'm like, they're really hooping with Westbrook out here right now because they have another guy on the glass crashing the boards and shit. If they want to go small ball, you have to have Westbrook in there because Westbrook plays bigger than what he is.
Absolutely.
So when you're looking at that, I'm like, then they bring Harden in. I'm like, at some point, you just have to not play Harden down the stretch of games. And then Reggie Miller was on the call like, this is what they got him for.
This is why they got
because
him.
to
And he misses the
point guard,
layup.
to play point guard late in games. I'm like, you acting like PG wasn't playing point guard damn near this whole game. Like, I'm not saying like he's the best when it comes to like making like point guard level decisions, but you're looking at him and you're like, but like Harden's not giving me like what this ain't the James Harden from years ago, guys. I don't like James Harden's giving you like, and this isn't even the James Harden from last year.
He looks so much worse. Maybe he was intentionally like gaining weight just to try and play that hand with Philly if he needed to, and then it never came to that, and he's just gonna play himself into shape a bit.
They started out so fire. They had everything working. Westbrook was hooping. You had Norman Powell, Bones off your bench. You had two-headed monster off your bench hooping. Then, like, obviously Mason Plumlee goes down, but, like, you can bring in another big off your bench for that. And then you got everybody hooping, PG hooping, Kawhi hooping. You're healthy for once. Let's go trade for James Harden. You ain't fucking 1 cent. You ain't 1 cent.
0-5.
They're the first team.
And they're, like, the worst, like, defense in the league.
They're the first team to ever be officially eliminated from bracket play for the in-season tournament.
Are they already?
Yes.
What are they, 0-3?
Yeah.
Wow.
They haven't won a game since.
Yeah, so I didn't know they're 0-3 in the tournament.
And I mean, hey. Nico,
did they lose the first game without him?
Yeah.
Okay, then that makes more sense.
And Nico Batum, while he's missed a couple games with, like, personal reasons, he has looked very solid for Philly. Mm-hmm. Same with Robert Covington. And then, like I said, those picks, those are going to come in handy at the trade deadline and in the offseason. So, I don't know. I don't want to, like I said, narratives change, and as more data comes in, you know, how our viewpoints change. But right now, Philly looks pretty good.
Yeah, they do look very good. I thought y'all won the trade when it happened.
You guys have.
Yep.
I was like, you get Rocco, Marcus Morris, and Nick Batum. Nick Batum was starting for y'all.
Yeah.
So, like, you have different options. You guys are so versatile now. You guys have people that are bought in that want to be there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm like, and the Clippers.
And then Tyrese Maxey, too.
Yes, Tyrese Maxey's hooping. And then Clippers started out 3-0. Clippers have lost 6 straight games.
Beautiful.
6
Five of those are with Harden, or is it all 6?
5 of them are with Harden.
5 of them are with Harden. They are currently 3-7.
Yep.
And then it's just like, when does it turn around? When does it? Ty Lue say you needed time. I think it's going to take more time, because you have to get to a point where you have to either bench Westbrook or you bench Harden. You can't have them both closing the game together.
They benched Westbrook.
And I think that's horrible.
That's what they did.
I don't think you should bench Westbrook.
When it gets down to, like...
I don't think Russ is the problem.
I'll say, when it got down to the... He was confused. I remember the video of him, they were shooting free throws, and they called him for a sub, and he, like, was just paying attention, and he was like, hey, you're out. And he's like... And he did, like, a double take, and then he ran out.
He's so funny.
It's just, I just don't...
I mean, you're telling me, like... They play the Rockets tomorrow.
Rockets are tough right now.
Win. In LA, but, like,
no
is this going to be your
Rockets
stupid, like, you're going to get maybe 30 from Kawhi? Is this where it all comes together against the Rockets?
They can beat the Rockets. That's not who they're trying to beat at the end of the day.
No.
They got to compete with the Denvers of the world, even OKC's to the world now, Warriors, Lakers, like, Suns.
Baby steps, though. We got to win game 1 before worrying about those guys.
Yes, and it just sucks because it's going to get to a problem where now Ty Lue benches James Harden this one game, then James Harden pissed, then all of a sudden Ty Lue job become in jeopardy because you traded for James Harden, and Ty Lue can't make it work like he makes everything else work. Like, it's just something that sucks because Ty Lue's such a great coach. Ty Lue's a top 3 coach in the league, and then you continuously give him products that don't work. You give him shit that don't work, and you expect him to do miracles with it. Like, there is a scenario where this Clippers team just don't work.
I think it's happening right in front of our eyes.
And it helps. Thank God they only have it for the year.
That's true. All 4, their big 4 are free agents after this season.
Because it's to the point now, who would have traded for James Harden? There's a reason the Clippers were the only team interested in James Harden.
I'm not even sure why they did. They didn't need him.
They didn't. I thought the Clippers, it's always been a health thing, but, like, this year with this team, I'm like, Clippers stay healthy. I mean, this Clippers team could be a top-tier contender. But now it's to the point where I'm like, they're just going to get beat by Denver in 5. It just is what it is. I don't think there's a team in the league that is beating Denver, like, in an actual series.
I don't know. I think Boston...
Not right now, dude.
I've watched Nikola Jokic without his second-best player, Jamal Murray. All right, Golden State, fully healthy, comes into Denver. Yeah, we're going to take care of them. Took care of them easily as fuck. Clippers team, yes, they're struggling. Still got hella talent. No Jamal Murray? Fine. No bench production? Fine. I'm just going to take care of it. I'm going to drop 40, 16, and 8. That's fine. I'm going to take care of it. Yeah. And then it's like, you have Jamal Murray, and there is no team that's beating this team 4 times in a series. I don't know if it's Boston because they haven't played them yet. They would kill Milwaukee because Milwaukee can't guard. The Suns, I still got to see it because I haven't seen their whole team play yet. Philly's interesting because they do have Joel Embiid, but I still think
Denver
I gotta see it.
wins
Denver still
6.
is the better. Like Denver all around
5
is
or
just
6.
the best team. Like I don't see a team that can beat them 4 times.
And see, I think Boston has a shot because Porzingis is 7'3" and he plays big too. He blocks shots. He's a big body. And Al Horford. I mean, I don't know if you watched the Sixers Celtics game, but like Al Horford has clamps. He can move, especially being 37 years old. He's going to be another, big body to throw at Jokic. Not to mention Drew Holiday coming, swooping because Jokic, he dribbles. He likes to post up. Drew Holiday coming from the backside and swipe at it. Celtics, I think, have the best shot.
I think Boston and Philly are the only 2 teams I can see beating. Even Phoenix. Like I'm like. Phoenix can score, but like Phoenix they have nothing for Jokic. They have nothing. I don't care about like Nurk. He ain't doing shit with him, Nick.
Nurk and what's his name? Is it
No.
Jock Londale?
No, it's Drew Eubanks.
Eubanks, baby.
He's not.
But I haven't even seen them all play together yet. It's gonna be fine because they all actually work. Instead of the Clippers where like they don't work. They all fit each other's games. And like the main thing about the Suns, when they have Devin Booker, they're just a completely different fucking team. Like
His assist rate is 55%.
Like they just take care of teams
That's
when they have
crazy.
D-Book and KD, and then you add Beal, they're gonna be fine. It's just when they do, and I think that's gonna be the conference finals matchup is them and Phoenix, them and Denver. It's what do you do with Jokic? Because at this point, like even without his second best player, he's just taking care of like upper echelon teams in the league. And I just don't think there's a team other than maybe Boston, maybe Philly, that has the personnel to like even fuck with them.
And that's what makes center so unique is that if you have a truly dominant center, that there's only a handful of guys in the league that can really match up well with him. So I don't know. I like your argument. Denver looks like the repeat champions.
They looked even like obviously they lost shit on their bench, but this team they're not looking like a championship slump like how most teams come in after they win the chip. Like they look hungrier.
Is it Brown or Braun?
Yeah,
he looks very good. He's really taking a leap to
they wanted him to take like the Bruce Brown role, but like he's not a scorer like Bruce Brown is. He's kind of more of like
he does everything else.
Yes, he does everything else good. They do need to add somebody to that bench though, because that bench is very, even with how good they are and how good Jokic makes his teammates, they still just need something coming off the bench of like production.
And the Bulls are having a fire sale, so I'm sure that they'll get something.
Fuck, I'd go get Bones Highland ass back if that situation didn't end so bad.
I'm sure the Lakers would love to recoup some picks.
What happened to maybe we're not in locker rooms, but Bones Highland's whole situation, they just benched him in Denver.
Very odd.
And then they benched him in the Clippers. He was hooping for the Clippers.
Maybe he's got like an attitude thing, or like he doesn't watch film or something.
They benched him just because they got Harden. He was in the rotation heavily until they got Harden.
So he free my man's Highland.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just narrative changes every week. We can come back next week and then the Clippers won 4 straight type shit like that. But that's the beauty of the NBA because conversations change day to day, week to week. But
at this point, though, we've seen teams try this super team stuff, and I mean, other than the KD Warriors, who had probably the most one-of-one player in NBA history in Steph Curry, like I don't know if we've ever seen a super team really work.
They don't work.
What was Braun? Was Braun Wade Bosch a super team?
No, because they were just. I mean, Chris Bosh was like a B tier kind of player. He wasn't.
He was the man.
He was
Toronto.
good. He was the man in Toronto, and then he was
when he got drafted.
Then he was like 16-8.
He became the man in Miami.
He wasn't the man.
LeBron was the man. Good three.
He was good. That's what I mean. He was good, but like super team where we're talking like 3 like.
They were a super team for that time period.
That's what I mean.
Fair.
Like for that time period, they were a super team.
Yeah, but like I guess now super teams are like 4
people.
Yeah, like. Because I mean, you gotta imagine Russ is gotta consider him one of those stars. Kawhi, PG, and Harden.
How did they fuck that up in Brooklyn?
It was Kyrie and the vaccine.
It's like you had Kyrie.
He didn't want to get it, so then Harden was like, "Ooh, vibes are off. I want out," and then he made everything weird.
But it's like you had that team.
So maybe it is just threesome.
You had Kyrie, Harden, and Durant, but like also like the talent around them. And it didn't work out.
What was it? They didn't have Jared Allen because he got traded, but they still had Claxton, Karis LeVert was gone in the trade too. Was Dinwiddie there, or was he in Washington?
No,
He was gone. I think
he
he was
was
in Dallas.
But they had like Patty Mills, Joe
Mills,
Harris, Seth
Blake
Curry, Blake Griffin. They had
LaMarcus Aldridge for a spell too.
LaMarcus Aldridge, Yuta still. So they had a team.
Cam Thomas.
I really hope Phoenix doesn't end that way.
Phoenix, and that's the thing. It's all about vibes, and so far seems like all good. They just, I don't know, Nick. What's the deal? Why haven't they played?
They're hurt.
Are they though?
Bro, that was
We always have this conversation.
That was the
they,
biggest.
Like, what do you think, Isaac? Do you just think they don't want to play?
That's my theory. Yeah.
Is that what your guess
Sounds
is?
like Zoe. He sounds like Zoe right now.
They're hurt.
I don't know. It's just like, big 3 debut. I'm like, oh, we locked in. All of a sudden, Bradley Beal out, back me.
Yeah.
When are we gonna see it? Like, when are we gonna see it?
I guess never. Like,
That's my theory.
No, it's gonna happen soon, couple weeks.
D-Book requests out. He gets traded up to Minnesota.
Nah. But to wrap up the episode, we do have something. ESPN ranked the top 25 players under 25. We'll post a graphic on Twitter at BarrelPod. But going through this, anything interesting that you see, they're basing this off potential as well.
man, Tyler Hero is way down there.
I think so. Like,
As he should be.
I think Tyler Hero should be where Jalen Williams.
Yeah,
is.
so do I. I don't think Jalen Williams is better than Tyler
I
Hero.
think you could argue Tyler Hero can be above Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's based off of solely just potential.
But like, what is the potential of Jalen Williams?
Yeah.
He's
like-
a 6'6" two-way wing who can give you 25, 6 and 6 on elite defense. Tyler Hero's not giving you
does
elite
he
defense.
give you that on a team that's not the Thunder? That's basically where I look at it.
He could as the number 2 option if Shea's going to give you 30 a night.
I don't know if I could see him as a number 2.
But Tyler Hero gets you how many? What is he averaging this season?
Tyler Hero's averaging like 25.
He's almost averaging like 30.
Yeah, he's
He's been hurt for a while,
yeah.
though.
He had a sprained ankle, but like
But he's not giving you good defense like Jalen
Tyler Hero's
Williams
giving you
is.
serviceable enough defense.
22.9. No,
I wouldn't call Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams is not giving me 23 points a game.
he could be.
I don't think
He's
so.
It's
Rookie
based
of the
on
year.
it's based on potential. There's
He was the rookie of the year.
I don't think Scoot should be on here just based off potential. I still think we still need to see something. I think Sengun potential.
No, he wasn't.
Saying what?
Jalen Williams was a rookie of the year.
Yes,
No.
he was.
It was Paulo.
Yeah, it's Paulo.
Oh, it was my dumbass. He was all NBA
You said
first.
that, I was like...
all rookie first team.
And I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute.
All rookie first. team.
Sengun, if we're talking potential, should be a lot higher.
Love Sengun. I love
Yeah.
Sengun.
There's a bunch of interesting, like, the top 5 is Luka, Edwards, Wemby, Halliburton, and Ja. I think you could argue
They have Wemby up there just for
potential. I think Ja should be still. I think Ja should be 2.
2? You think he could be better than Anthony Edwards?
Yes. I think Ja Morant could be the
Come
face of the
on.
league.
Nah, Anthony
mean,
Edwards
face-
is
I
better
think
than Ja.
Because he
don't
does the
take
big
recency.
dunks
Don't
and
take
stuff.
don't take off court shit into
He's a
the
6'0", 170-pound dunker who can't play a lick of defense and is an inconsistent shooter. I mean, yeah, he's going to give you highlight dunks and 26 points a night and a bunch of crazy passes, but like, he's not better than Anthony Edwards. He's not better than Wemby. Just on potential alone.
I just think John Morant he should be higher based on
I'd go
potential.
Ja in front of Halliburton.
I think yes, that I'm going Ja in front of Halliburton.
I think Maxey at 11's fair. He's, great, and he's shooting the lights out of the ball, but at the same time, he's like 6'1", 6'2", so he doesn't have a great wingspan, so he's probably never going to be like an elite lockdown defender. So
See, look.
that's fair for me.
I could argue Maxey higher.
And I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Why is potential wise Darius Garland above and LaMelo above Maxey? If you're talking about defensive potential, when am I gonna LaMelo isn't projecting to be any kind of lockdown defender? Neither is Darius Garland.
I wouldn't take either of those two over Maxey. That's a good point. I would take all of Luka,
I think Maxey
Edwards,
and Halliburton
Wemby.
should be closer together.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
There's
So-
nothing that Tyrese Halliburton is doing that Maxey can't do.
If we're looking at this list here, and I would probably put Maxey where Darius Garland is at 8.
yeah,
And I don't think that's insane to say. And then Chet, would you say Chet has? I would probably say Chet has more potential than Maxey, just on the skill set alone. He's a unicorn.
I think Chet and Wemby should be. I know they got Wemby top 3, but I think Chet and Wemby potential wise should be closer. They do a lot of the same shit. that you like in the unicorn. But like obviously Wemby projects to be better, but Chet does a lot of the same aspects that Wemby does. He's just smaller.
I wouldn't take Chet over any of the top 7, which is Luka, Anthony Edwards, Wemby, Halliburton, Morant, Cade Cunningham, and Zion.
I got a hot take.
You're about to say something crazy about Zion.
I don't think Zion should be at 7. I think he should be lower.
And see, that's not a bad take.
I think Zion's. I talked about with Connor last night. I think Zion's peaked. Like, what is Zion gonna add to his game that makes him better than a Scotty Barnes, a Paolo, a Chet, Evan Mobley, Tyree? Like, what is he adding?
Maybe it's not so much adding; it's just polishing. Like, if he becomes like a consistent 38% 3-point shooter on 6 attempts a night with 7 assists, like that kind of thing. Like, he just improves upon what he already has because he already has a pretty complete game.
For what he does, yes. But in terms of who I would take over him, if I'm being honest and being real, I'm putting Zion at anywhere but he's behind Scotty Barnes.
So you would take Paolo, Chet, Evan Mobley, and Maxey?
And Scotty Barnes.
And Scotty Barnes.
I
would draw the line there.
I just don't know what he... Because we're watching Zion play now, and obviously this is just a list. Obviously this is based on potential and everything else like that. But what is Zion adding to his game that makes me think that Scotty, he's going to be projected better than Chet or Scotty Barnes?
And see, Chet, I don't disagree. But Scotty Barnes, I mean, he's just a more athletic version of Scotty Barnes, right?
I would say
Scotty is hooping.
Yes,
Scotty
I would
has
say
been
Scotty
hooping. I will
is just...
say, Scotty has proved me. I was talking mad stuff about Scotty Barnes to start the season, and he has proved me every bit wrong. I'm sure he's listening to Barrel Talk Pod, so he's probably
listening right now.
Yeah. So you know what, Scotty Barnes? I apologize. You've turned it up.
There's some weird
how
Josh
do we feel
Giddey
about
at 18.
Franz Wagner at 16. That's a bit high.
Yeah.
Because we got him over Jalen Williams, Josh Giddey, Jalen Green.
I don't hate that.
See, I'm the only name that...
I think him at 16 is the perfect spot.
I think the only person behind him that I put above him is Sengun.
The guy who's at 25.
I think Sengun is being highly disrespected. If we're talking potential,
I've been awake.
This is baby.
I've been awake.
I know you've been on the.
This is baby.
I've been awake.
Potential wise.
I tried to trade for him last year. League wouldn't let it.
I mean, with how the Denver Nuggets won the championship, a playmaking
Look at this
center
man.
who Sengun fits the mold. He's a little shorter, but I heard he grew this offseason.
I believe that.
I heard that he grew, and I haven't watched any Rockets games, so I can't tell. And I don't measure the guy, but Sengun he's legit. I could see him being top 20 on this list.
It's very, very interesting.
I don't know how well him and Jabari Smith Jr. pair together. Just defensively, that doesn't seem like a good 4-5 combo to me. So maybe the Rockets draft a big Derek Lively type 5 and have Sengun run the 4, because Jabari Smith is he's not a rim protector really.
No.
And Sengun's definitely not a rim protector.
No. So he does everything you need offensively.
Oh yeah, he's very talented.
But it is just a list based off potential.
Absolutely.
You can move Jalen Duren up a little bit.
Oh, good. I didn't see that. Yeah, Jalen Duren. He matched up very well against Joel Embiid. He's only 19, but he's very standing his ground.
He's the youngest player on this list.
Yeah,
you can move him up.
Yeah, I would definitely. That's a good pull, Nick.
I can move him up to above Franz, low key.
I don't hate that.
I think we eaten Halliburton a little bit.
Nick knows ball. Oh, come on. He has
What do you mean?
45 assists and no turnovers past 2 games or something.
But
that was insane.
He's averaging 27 and 11
games.
I know, but
he's the point guard.
Put him over Ja.
He's gonna be a top 5 point guard at one point.
So okay, to your point, what more can Ja add to his game? He is 6'0", 180 pounds.
Ja is better Derrick Rose in his prime.
I mean, better than Derrick Rose. I mean, Derrick Rose won MVP at 21, right?
He won that. John Morant is 32 on average, easy. with all the assist and playmaking ability that Halliburton has and the explosiveness. Yes, Halliburton's a better shooter.
He doesn't have the playmaking that Halliburton has. I don't know if anybody has the playmaking that Halliburton has. That dude is special.
His playmaking is also determined about how they play. They play 7 seconds or less, like legit. Like they average the most points in the league for a reason. And it's more so. I'm not saying that to down them, but it's also the system that he's also playing in.
But Ja runs at that same pace too. Like when Ja's in and the Grizzlies have the offense that he wants to run, it's run and gun, lob city kind of stuff. So they're running at a pretty fast pace themselves. I don't know.
Are we fine with the top 2 though?
Sure.
What was it, Luka and AD or not AD? Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Because I mean, Anthony Edwards. I don't want to say anything crazy, but like you've seen the meme where it's the split image of him and Michael Jordan. Like that play style is very similar. The guard who can just get you a bucket whenever you need, and if you start talking smack to him in crunch time, he's gonna make you pay. Like it's a fun archetype.
We can revisit it during the year though.
Oh yeah, I mean we can keep revisiting it because Keegan Murray's probably gonna shoot up to number 1 here soon.
All right, I think we've got to wrap it up there.
That's got to be the last.
Yep. But
Keegan Murray.
We can wrap it up there.
He's looked solid this year.
Yeah, he has. But thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope to see you in the future episodes.